Okay, so we're going to start in order. My worst project yet, by far. This was a total mistake. This is not something that I do. I don't refinish other people's work. I was told these were solid white oak tables, but then I got them, I realized they weren't. These were oak veneer tables with plywood underneath a border and outside veneer. So these were all plywood. So that's why if these were solid white oak at 60-inch diameter tables, these things probably would have been about 200 pounds or so. And they weren't that heavy. So I kind of knew, but I couldn't tell for sure because they had epoxy, about a quarter to a half inch of epoxy on them. So you can see I'm going to run the hand plane to start just to get some of this epoxy off. This was a nightmare. Epoxy's plastic. It's harmful for your lungs. And I had to wear a mask, multiple masks, just to try to do this. Eventually I take them outside on and off to work on them to not be in such a confined space. So what I'm just going to do is going to sand. This is going to be 10 to 15 hours of sand at both of these tables. This was just a nightmare. I can't say it enough. I will never do something like this again. I probably could have built two cheaper tables for less money and had better results and happy. So there was so much dust. There was just so much sand. You can see the dust coming off these things. These are plywood. Not only were they plywood, they were different types of plywood. They weren't even the same type of veneer. So that's probably why whoever built them or refinished them at one point put a very dark stain on them and about a half inch of epoxy just to hide any of these cracks and grain patterns. And you could tell if you look closely, but blotchy. But it really was evident once you start taking this epoxy off and really start sanding this plywood. You have to be careful with plywood because you don't want to sand down past the veneer, which was almost impossible with epoxy on them. So pulling epoxy off plywood is almost like pulling Gorilla Glue off sheets of paper and not hoping to peel any of the paper. So anyway, this is my mistake. I should not have taken this order. I should have known better. So the moral of the story is think before you take an order, in the short. But I'm going to keep pushing on because the client wants these tables back, within 24 hours essentially of me starting. So I was trying to meet that deadline and, so they didn't lose tables for their business. But I knew this was going to be just not a good situation. And it's just a ton of sand and probably, like I said, 10 to 15 hours of sanding on these tables. And like I said, this was a mistake. I can't say this enough. I was very unhappy with the way this turned out. I wasn't happy with my workmanship, even though I didn't build this. Like I said, I should have known better. And this is a lesson. Just times you just have to avoid certain things, and use your common sense and your gut here. See, this is just horrible grain. Some veneer is kind of worn down. The stain covered up a lot of the imperfections, but it wasn't enough to my liking, and I wasn't happy. They wanted a special walnut stain put on here, and it covered up some of, like I said, the imperfections, but not enough to make me happy. So needless to say, I didn't charge the customer for this. this was just a bad situation. They weren't 100% pleased. I was far from pleased. So I wasted a lot of time.